Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah Zain. Before handing over to our guest, I would like to introduce him to all of you. Mr. Sireen Ahmed was born and raised in Purnia, eastern city of Bihar, northeastern India. After completing his schooling and matriculation at Sir Syed Academy and Milia Convent English School, Purnia, he moved to Aligarh in 2010 to pursue diploma in computer engineering from University Polytechnic, Aligarh Muslim University. Mr. Ahmed was blessed enough to receive his hard-earned degree of Bachelor's in Electrical Engineering from Aligarh Muslim University in June 2017, with an outstanding score of GPA 9.56 out of 10. His sheer diligence and caliber was undoubtedly recognized, and Mr. Ahmed was soon awarded with the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship for pursuing a master's degree in electrical engineering at Budapest University of Technology and Economics for a duration of 2 consecutive years, spanning from September 2017 to June 2019. Mr. Ahmed graduated his Master's of Science degree from Budapest University of Technology and Economics, majored on power system and power electronics. Currently, he is pursuing his PhD degree in electrical engineering from Texas A&M University, USA, where he is working on cybersecurity for power electronics, smart inverters, DERs, and smart grids. Mr. Ahmed is also a reviewer at IEEE Energy Conversion Congress and Exposition. Today, he has joined us to share his experience and provide his expert guidance on expanding career opportunities by exploring and securing international scholarships. Meanwhile, participants are requested to write down their doubts and questions in the chat box. We'll read it out later. Now I am handing over to our guest. Sir, please go forward.
Okay. First of all, just am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what about my screen? Is it visible? PPT?
Yeah, clear.
PPT is visible?
Yes.
Okay. And one more thing, Hamad, I have I made a co-host, so you can admit the people who is joining. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yes. And okay, let's get started. Thank you, Ahmad. Thanks for inviting me. As he already introduced me, I am Sireen Ahmed, and this City Talk Club, he's I think head of this club. So once again, thanks for the invitation. And he already introduced me. I did my bachelor and diploma in electrical engineering. So I stayed 7 years in an AMU. And okay, so before delaying any further delay, just get started to the main talk. Okay. So today I'm going to discuss about exploring and securing fully funded scholarship for abroad study. For everywhere, it's just a general to a specific webinar. So if you know a few things, like if you know the basic things about abroad study, then you can do Hamad, are you able to admit the waiting people?
Yes.
Okay. So if you know the basic things about the abroad study, then it is highly beneficial for you. If you don't know anything, then it is also beneficial for you. So stay at the last and till the last. And if you have any questions, just just put in the chat box. If you have some long questions or some long queries, maybe we can unmute you and then you can talk to us. And one more thing I want to address. Okay, I will address it later. So this one is the introduction, just for like when I was in Hungary, we celebrated the Cerciad Day. And all these are my classmates. So I went in 2017, then I linked my all friends, like 4 to 5 friends had applied the next year, following year, and 3-4 people get accepted, and all were in the Hungary with me. So we spent a very good time there. So the first question arises here: why we should consider about the abroad study? One thing I want to address: in some places, I would like, maybe I will talk about in Hindi or mother tongue if there is some complexity in understanding some critical things. So feel free to ask questions in Hindi, English, whatever you want. And don't be shy. Don't think that English is the only communication language. It's just a communication language.
Serene bhai, the slides are not changing.
Slides are not changing.
You have to share your entire screen, sir.
1 second. What about now? Is it visible now?
Yes, now
yes.
Yes. So the first question is why we should consider the abroad study. So there are lots of pros and cons also. So my sole purpose was, in my case, it was just exploring the world and visit the different cities and countries, because it is, it is very difficult to visit places after job or something, because you will not have time or even the salary or money. So it is very difficult. So it is very, like, it is a great opportunity if you get admission and you can study there, and also in parallel you can visit the cities and countries. This was actually my sole purpose of deciding the abroad studies. And till now I have visited 25 countries. So if you are going to study in European countries, it is very good opportunity to travel any country, because you will get visa of that type, that Schengen visa. Then you can travel any country, any city, so except UK or Ireland. So you can target European Union, or wherever you target, you can go to any places for research purposes or anything. And second is higher salary after job, funds availability for scholarship, like for studies, masters, PhD, and of course more opportunities than India, especially nowadays. And of course the quality labs are there, so they don't have much funding problem like in our university or in our country. So university pays to secure funding from the organization. So this is a great thing that you can achieve in abroad universities. And of course highly established research, you can do much quality research, and your research will be appreciated, the foremost thing. And of course the cons is, you will miss the home badly, families, members, brothers, sisters, and everyone, if you stay for a long time. So consider that one also. And this one is just the pick of Oxford University, you know. So actually I like that one, so that's why I put it. Okay, next is how much is scholarship amount. How much is scholarship amount they provide, like universities, how much they provide. So if you are not clear about these things, that how much should we pay and for master studies, PhD studies, so just be clear that you don't need to pay anything, even air flight ticket in some cases, if you secure the admission with a scholarship. Like I didn't pay anything for Hungary, and for United States I just paid for flight ticket from my like Taiwan to United States when I traveled first time. So just paid the flight ticket and nothing. And once you get admission, so you will get the tuition waiver, you will get the health insurance, and in some cases accommodation. If you are not if they are not providing accommodation, then you will get a stipend amount. Then you can rent or live in private apartment or such like that. And the amount they provide in each country, it is enough, more than enough. Even you can save money, you can send your family, and whatever you need you can do, or buy something by saving the amount that you are getting with, in terms of a stipend. And if you are married, you can bring your family very easily with this scholarship amount. With family, of course, saving will be less, but you can easily manage. So it is not a big issue. So you can read all about that. Like here, I just put some countries, United States. Majority of like students get the scholarship in the form of TA or RA, MS per month, $6, and PhD $6. It like varies. If you are living in California or New York or some big city, then of course this will increase, because they set this amount according to the living style, city, and the expenses of that city. So in my case, in Texas, if you are getting this much amount, it is so good. Like if you are not in Houston or Dallas or Austin, then this amount is more than enough. You can save easily $800 or $700 per month for this amount. And for this amount, of course, you will save very less, but of course you don't need to pay anything. Accommodation, you will get this stipend amount, and you will pay with that amount to find the accommodation and live either yourself with friend, or if you have a family, then with family. For Canada, it is same, but here you have to, because Canadian university has some tuition fees, so you have to pay some amount what you are getting in the terms of stipend. So in Canada, saving is very, very less. Australia, there are university RTP scholarship. For masters, it is just masters by research. In Australia, there are two courses, even some other countries also, MS by coursework and MS by research. So MS by coursework doesn't have any scholarship, but MS by research has some scholarship. These amounts are similar amounts for Australia also. And for PhD, but it is highly difficult to get admission there in Australia for MS degree. So if you have a strong profile, a strong research background, papers, and then you can apply to Australia for master's degree. And same is the case with accommodation. And of course, then Japan, China, and Eastern countries or European countries. I have put all these things in this link. This is the Facebook group, so you can read that one. I will maybe put the slide in the Facebook group or wherever we will think about it where we can post. So I will post them, then you can read all the stipend details the countries provide for MS and PhD students. Even nowadays, bachelor student also, like universities are providing a scholarship for bachelors, so you can also look for the bachelor's degree in abroad. But be clear, talk to the family, talk to your parents, and that I want to study, it will take so much time and it will, like your family conditions well. So talk to your family, parents, mothers, and consider your life, age, everything, then decide. Because if you left India and went for abroad study, then it is very difficult to return India and like immediately and then get a job in India. So plan wisely. Okay. Now there are some basic scholarship, like it is very few. It is very few that I am putting here just to show you how many scholarships are available across the country, across the globe or world. So here you can see this is the type of government scholarship like Turkey Versalari, Stipendium Hungaricum. I got this one, Korean Government Scholarship, International Postgraduate Research Scholarship, Australian Award. This one, DAD, Germany, like for this one, in some courses, you need 2 years of experience for master's degree, even for PhD. MOFA Taiwan, Taiwan ICDF, Eiffel Excellence Scholarship Program. There are a lot. So you can click the link and explore it later. And for the easiest one, if you want to, like, if you don't have a strong profile, then you can apply for Hungary, Taiwan ICDF, even Eiffel Excellence Scholarship Program. It is not easy to secure, but you can try. For Australia, I think this one is like Indians are not eligible this year, so maybe you can check. And next is embassy type scholarship. It is just a type, not a like exact classification. Just I could categorize it, so you don't need to worry about what is these embassy scholarship, government scholarship. It is all fully funded. All scholarship will provide you everything. Okay, please unmute yourself. Okay, then some university scholarship, like Skoltech is one university in Russia. It is quite good in terms of research, and it is collaborative with MIT United States, so you can apply there also. And UST Taiwan or like United States US University TA or RA fellowship, University of Brunei Darussalam scholarship. So these are some scholarships you can look for and read the eligibility, and then if you think you have a good profile, then you can apply to these scholarship or university. Okay, next is where to start. So first of all, you have to think about, like in abroad or like United States or Germany or Japan or wherever, like you don't need to take entrance test like India, like GATE test or some other NEET or some other types of tests which usually held in India. So in abroad, you have to provide all of your document, and that's all. They will evaluate screening. They will screen your document, and then decide if you are eligible for interview or not. Then they will take interview, and most of the cases, in some cases, they just get they will give you admission. No need to no need to take interview or appear for interview. But in most of the cases, first they will screen your documents, then they will decide if you are in the top list of the university admission committee, then they will call for your interview. And once you are like, interview is very easy. Usually what you have written in the CV, statement of purpose, or and any other document, they will ask about yourself, they will ask about your long-term goal or your plan, and that's all. If you answered all of the questions in a good manner or with confidence, then interview is nothing. So basically, you need, first of all, you have to stop talking. And like we know that lots of people just talk about I have to study, I need information, and he or she gets the information and does nothing. So stop talking and discussing and start doing. Understand the full procedure of abroad studies. It is in the my blog or Facebook group. You can go there, and it is in depth. So must read this blog. So you just read this one, you will understand everything, how the admission committee and everything is working in the abroad. Understand the required documents and how to make it strong. Understand what the admission committee wants from you. And once understood fully, make a plan with week and month. Planning is a very crucial factor for abroad studies. So you have to plan everything, because abroad universities close their application 8 months or 9 months before the session starts, get it started. So you have to make a plan. Like if you are applying for fall 2022, you have to apply till December or maximum January. But United States till December is the maximum. So you can see that January to August or July, they will close the application in January, and then they will evaluate. Then you will get they will give you admission and some document formality, then visa and all. So it takes a lot of time. That's why they close their application deadline before 8 months, or even some cases 10 months, or even in some cases in a year before the session gets started. So once you understood everything, then try to get like the general documents which is required everywhere. Bachelor, master, CPI or percentage, like transcript and statement of purpose. Length varies, but generally 1,000 words. At least 3 letter of recommendation. And TOEFL or IELTS scores vary with university. Minimum 80 for TOEFL, but ideal 96 plus. And minimum IELTS score is 6.5. If you score less than that, then very few university you will get to apply. So don't try to score at least 80 on TOEFL and 6.5 on IELTS. And GRE general taste if you are highly interested for USA, otherwise skip GRE. If you have a plan to study, your only priority is GRE, then you can if your only priority is United States, then you can take GRE, otherwise skip it. Instead of GRE, do research work, publication, if possible 1 paper in journal. So that would be quite good, even rather than GRE taste. Research proposal generally for PhD, especially for European countries and Australia, and you don't need research proposal for United States. So it varies with countries. Acceptance letter from supervisor, mainly required for PhD, but sometimes for MS. It is not mandatory everywhere. Most of the places it is not mandatory, but if you are planning to secure funding, if you have only option to go to abroad with funding, then you must contact professor and you must get reply from him. If he replies you, if you mail him or her in a nice way, in or relevancy of research and some research skills which is required in the professor lab that you are contacting, then he will reply. Like lots of people always say that professor don't reply, professor don't reply. It is because of that we don't email in a proper way. We just we just make a general email, one email, and just forward to every professor. And professor, he is working in academia since years of years, so he easily identifies that what email is, what efforts did you put in writing that email. So I will explain it later also. Maybe you can see the samples of these emails in the guide section of the Facebook group, which will be provided at the end. And the strong CV is some kind of, you can, as much as things you can include, just include it. Leadership skills, organizing skills, volunteering skills. But most important thing is, like, you are going to apply for masters or PhD. So you must learn research skills like software skills or some hardware skills, equipment, operating skills, and mention that one in CV. That is going to impact much more than what you have. What you will do for leadership skills, organization. All these things also you try to include, try to do these, gain these skills and include it in CV. But most important is that research skills, and also the Robo Club for engineering or few other projects. You do that project, and if you are from another background, another faculty, then you can also do some projects, or some, if your faculty has different clubs, then join it and do some, not only join it, but do some activity and include that one in CV, that what was your role. And next is how to shortlist university. Shortlisting university is very crucial thing depending on the profile, because you cannot apply 50 universities. You have to be very clever while shortlisting university. So what you should do, like, choose university according to your profile. Like if you have low CPI and good research experience, test scores, a medium average test scores, if mandatory, then shortlist university of that range. You can post your profile in the group. Maybe I can, or many other people who got the admission last year or in last 3-4 years, they can suggest you some university, and that will be quite good for you. That, because if you have a low or moderate profile or even a high profile, but some universities consider GRE like more, some universities consider CPI, and some universities consider, like, other university, lots of other universities consider different types of things. So you will not know at this stage, but the people who has applied earlier, so they know which university consider which things most. So that will be quite good for you. If you have a moderate profile, then where should you apply? If you have a high profile, where should you apply? These types of things. And what matters most is ranking doesn't matter. So don't go for ranking. Like it is a, you can say it is a just ranking is just something showing off. So don't go for ranking. So how should you categorize? How should you choose university, country? Then first thing is, what country do you want to go? Then which professor or supervisor you want? Like it depends on your research interest. And then and are there any funding scholarship available with this supervisor or in their lab? Or what is the, like, how many equipments or facilities are in the professor labs? Because you are going to do research, so you need equipment. So it is not like that professor has accepted you and you just went to that university blindly, and when you went there and then you are doing nothing, so then ultimately you will not get a good job and you will face trouble in finding jobs and everything. So you have to be clever. It is not like if you, like, Nowadays people think that if I get admission in abroad, then my career is set. It is not like that. You have to do hard work, you have to do better research, you have to do you have to be very active in performing everything. And then procedure is simple, so I'm just moving. Initially shortlist some university. It is basically for United States, but you can apply to any other university, it doesn't matter. Shortlist 5 universities, see their eligibility and TOEFL minimum. If it matches with you, then you can apply to your chosen university. Arrange the university according to the application deadline, like, and high ranking university, like for example, if you choose 5 high ranking universities, 5 average ranking, 5 low ranking, and if you are eligible in all of them, then shortlist the professor of your research interest in each university, then revise the list. For sure your list will decrease because some university professor will not reply, then choose another university. Now start contacting each of the professor you have shortlisted for supervision of MS or PhD degrees with an attachment of CV and transcript, nothing else. And if he requires any other thing, then you can see their personal web page. If he mentions or she mentions any other things, any other document, then you have to provide also that one also. One professor, one time in one university, then wait for 3-4 days. If no reply, send a reply email in good tone. If you receive a positive reply, then go to next step. Okay. Then if you didn't get the reply from your chosen university and professor, then again at university like a step 1 and repeat the procedure. So it doesn't mean that if professor is not replying, then you should not apply. You can apply, but then of course the number of university should decrease, because applying to US or Canadian universities, it requires huge application fees. So it is very difficult to manage that fee. So plan wisely, evaluate your profile from you and to your like seniors, then you can understand that then you can understand which university should I apply. Finally, apply to the university in which the professor has replied you positively. If professor has replied, then I think most of the chances that you will get the I think someone is someone is moving the cursor in the screen. Please don't do that. And wait for results. Be patient and make dua, and that's all. Okay. And next we move towards deadlines. Deadlines is one of the most important things which we ignore. When should I apply? It's like usually the abroad universities open their application portal 2 times, like spring, January, February, and fall season, August, September. It is the starting of the session. So you must apply before, like early application will increase your chances of selection drastically. So apply once application is open. Don't wait for the deadline. So here, for example, if you want to start your MS PhD studies in September 2022, then you must apply by November or December to Feb 2021. It varies from university to university or country to country. So you can see that all, like, they will close application 8 to 10 months before your bachelor or master degree completion. So you must have to complete all documents by September, October of 2021 for safe side if you are applying for September 2021. So you can see that the 1 year gap. So that's why I'm saying again and again, plan wisely. So don't like postpone your like taking like GRE test, TOEFL test, or IELTS test, or any other document. So just make it and apply it. Don't think too much about that I will get admission or not. So I can say that 50% of the people who get admission, he always thinks that I was not expecting, but he or she get admission. So it usually happens in abroad country, because in abroad university it is not like entrance test. It is about how many people are applying. If 100 people are applying, then of course the top 10 or top 13, 30 or top 20, whatever that admission is taking the student that year, and the admission committee will admit that top 30 students. But you will not know who is like whose profile is like stronger than me, and they will see overall profile, like CV, transcript, CPI, test score, research, everything. And then after that, they will make a list. So you will never know that what is the condition of your profile. So that's why you have to apply. Even you have a very low CPI, even 6 or 7 out of 10, then you can apply, and even you can expect admission from that, because previously people get the admission with 6 or 7 CPI, even 60% or 70%. So don't be hopeless, just apply. And the 3 scenarios, like most of the people in AMU, they don't take the GRE TOEFL. So I like for GRE, I already said that if you are planning to apply for United States, then you must take it. There is no like short form to then, like I know these days, these years, some universities are waiving GRE due to COVID and all, but it doesn't apply to other university. Maybe if you contacted some professor from another university, and then you will know that GRE is required there, then you will lose a like great thing, because it usually happens with some people this year. He contacted professor, he gets the reply, and he was very like impressed with the student's profile, but ultimately he had not done GRE test. So then professor told him to, you don't have GRE, you just take GRE and then apply for next semester. So who knows what will happen next semester. The first scenario, you need GRE score, TOEFL score, GPA, CV, SOP, LOR, research objective statement of proposal, these types of things. And you will not, I think these are the documents which usually all universities in abroad requires. Some universities you can find in the application portal to write answers to some questions. That's okay, you can write them. Second scenario is you don't need GRE. For this one, primarily you can apply to United States. Few Canadian universities require GRE score. Very few university of Germany require these scenario like GRE score. If you have not taken GRE, then just go for this one. TOEFL score, GPA, CV, everything is same. Then you can apply to all over the Europe, Japan, Asia, China, everywhere. In some cases, like third scenario, that people who didn't take the test, IELTS or TOEFL or GRE, then you can issue English proficiency certificate from the department, AMU or controller office, and then you can use that one for English proficiency certificate in place of TOEFL or IELTS score. But is it very rare? So like if you are a dedicated person and you really want to go abroad, then you must take TOEFL or IELTS test. And it is very easy. 2 months is enough for preparation. Just a little bit high fees, 15,000. And then everything is same, then you can apply. For this scenario, you can apply to, I think, Japanese university. Most Japanese university doesn't need any type of test, so you can apply to Japan and some Chinese university, Taiwan, and they usually don't need any test score, so you can apply to these countries with this scenario, third scenario. Next, how and which professor should I contact? So first of all, decide which university. I will show the demo of this one later after the end of this webinar. Decide which university you have to apply according to your profile. Like, for example, Hokkaido University in Japan. That, like I previously discussed this one. Explore your chosen university website, like website link. This one is the explore different tabs like prospective students, admission, research, faculty, etc. I will show you how to find these things quickly. For Japan, explore graduate schools. Like in the graduate school, you will find faculties like engineering, arts, commerce, and these things. And then go to your desired faculty or department and see the list of faculty. Faculty means professor. Read their research areas. If it is relevant to you, email him or her. Find email sample or guide in guide section of the Facebook group, MUSO. Or do similarly for US or other universities like Mississippi State University, and then explore the university website and see the list of faculty and research interests and then mail them. If it's stuck some places, just Google with keywords, you will find the information easily, such as University of Tokyo Mixed Scholarship 2022. So you will get some link, and then if you explore every 4 or 5 above, like top 4 or 5 links, and that will be, I think, you will get all the required information from that Googling. Like, for example, Mississippi State University Power Electronics. If you want to find how many, like what is the TOEFL score they want, University of Tokyo Engineering TOEFL. So you can find that information also by Googling this way. Non-GRE required country, I already told you, like Australia for European PhD position, Japan, South Korea, Germany, Italy, they don't need GRE. So you don't need to take GRE if you want to study in these countries. Like for Australia, research publication is the key factor for selection. First author is highly beneficial. European PhD position, highly competitive. Here your MS thesis quality and few publication matters a lot. Japan, contacting professor is the first step through email. So you must have to contact professor if you want to get admission with scholarship. Germany, contact professor with research idea. This channel is highly effective for pursuing PhD from Germany. You will mail him with your research idea. If professor accepted it, then you and professor will write a proposal and you will submit it for grant. If it is accepted, then you are admitted to that German university with that professor. Italy, they publish open positions, apply to them. It's a bit easier than other PhD positions. I also posted the complete list in the Facebook group. I already published it like 3-4 months, and many people have applied, and 1 or 2 people have also get selected, and he is going at the end of this month. And they provide a good stipend also, like 1,600 euro or 1,200, 1,300 euro. So you must apply to these, and you can find these positions. Like Italian PhD positions is not posted in a common platform that you can find other position, but Italian positions it is very difficult. That's why I put it in the Facebook group. You can explore them. If there is some deadline, then you can apply to them. And the lastly, discouragement and never give up attitude. Like rejection, you know that it is also a part of process. So don't be discouraged if you are getting rejected every time. Find your weak areas, work on them, and apply. Replan and apply to other universities, low ranking universities according to your profile. You will get, inshallah. Once again, ranking doesn't matter at all. So don't go for ranking. The whole application process is very lengthy and hectic. Don't give up. Motivate your friends to apply so that you can face these hurdles together and achieve dreams together. Okay, and of course, we, MSU team and other AMU small organizations are one message away from you, but you need to start by yourself and make efforts. We cannot help you to find what is the TOEFL score requirement, what is like the small things. You have to do that one by yourself. Okay. And for the guidance, if you need further guidance, then of course it is just join this group. And like I made this group last, I think 3 years ago. I didn't expect that it will go so fast and so huge manner, but it worked. So more than 300 students get selected all over the globe in last 3 years. Hungary is the top, like 100 students are currently in the Hungary AMU students in various faculties. And if you want to contact me, then of course email and Facebook Messenger is the like good for me. And you can contact any other member of the group, like moderator or admin. They will help you, or you can post in the here, like, what's your mind. So you can post here your queries. We will try to answer that. And of course, upcoming webinar in the MSU group. Then we usually do the webinar on different topics, so you can join them. Now I will show some demo. Then you can ask your questions. Before that, I had to those slides. Okay. This. Yes, this. So, like for example, we try to explore the Hokkaido University. Okay, just go to the name. I think it is. My screen is not visible. No, my screen is visible. Web page, Google Chrome.
No, it is not visible.
Okay. Okay. Now is it visible?
Yes, it is visible now.
Okay. So this is the Hokkaido University. Just type here, and this one is the main web page, homepage, and then you need to go to the admission section if you want to apply for admission. Then you can find graduate admission for master's and PhD degree. If you are applying for bachelor, then undergraduate admission. So this one is graduate admission, scholarship, and then you can also see visa when you get admission, after getting admission. And then you can also explore this one. Then you can find the graduate schools, some research programs, and research. These things you can explore and learn what it is in the website, which research area is focusing this university, and global. Some overseas partnership and you can see lots of things from the website. So for the graduate admission, you can here see study in English. Hokkaido University has 8 graduate level degree programs in English, so you can find them. English, engineering, education, advanced. So these are in English language. So you don't need to provide Japanese language certificate. Also, you can provide them English medium certificate from the AMU, and you can apply to these programs. Okay, and then if you like, just click it and you can find the rest of the information, like application period. You can see that it is already open. Okay, it is already open. So if anyone is from chemistry and material science, you can see the application period, deadline, November 1 to first screening. Then they will result first screening, then oral examination or interview, and then announcement of the final result, then time of enrollment. So you can see lots of information from the website. You just need to explore it. I know for the beginners, it will be like time taking, but it is the way that I have learned this way. So you have to explore like we people explore YouTube, and if we have to download movies, then I know how people search in the Google or everything, torrent and everything. So why not university? However, movie is not good. So I'm just taking example. So for the scholarship tab, you can see the scholarship prospective means like those who want to apply. Okay. So it like international students also come under this one, and like Japanese students also come under this tab, and a scholarship for current students like those who are already in the university. So just click on the scholarship prospective students. You can see Japanese government next scholarship. I prepared the very good documents on this. You can find that one. I will also show that one also. Like here, my blog. Yes, that one I was talking about. Complete procedure of his abroad study from nothing to everything. Just read it, and then summer research internship across the globe. Erasmus Mundus joint master degree. It is one of the reputed program of European Union, but very hard to get in. And one more. Study in Japan with full scholarship, complete guide. So you can find everything. So just explore this blog also. I will put the link. And next, okay, and if like you can also apply to Hokkaido University scholarship. Like lots of Japanese university also provide university scholarship rather than master scholarship. Master scholarship is government-based scholarship. So you can watch the webinar on Japanese scholarship in my like in group YouTube channel. So I discuss in detail about that one. So I don't have time to discuss here. So you can see that November 2nd to January 8th. So this is about scholarship. And what will cover the scholarship? You can also find this one also here anywhere. I don't know where, but you can find other scholarship also available. This is just an example. So in some universities, in every university you can find these information. Okay, next for Japan graduate school, like when you click graduate schools, I think this was here, not here. Graduate schools. So just go to graduate schools, you'll find your faculties. Like in my case, it is engineering. Just go to engineering. Then you can find admission to graduate school. So this will tell you about specifically engineering program, admission to graduate school, information for applicants, undergraduate admission, lots of other things, admission here, and research, and find your favorite laboratory, and division is some school of engineering. Then where is professor? I think stop. Yes. Then you can find research group, laboratory, and professor name. Then you can find the laboratory and then find his or her email ID, then email them. Okay, this is the way of finding professor and university and lab, and then you can contact them by reading research or research paper or research areas. So don't forget, you must relate your research with professor so that he can reply. Otherwise, he is not going to care about your email because he received lots of email. So you can study and read lots of information from the university website. Research programs, you can see here, there are lots of news, and these programs are like these informations are very helpful in writing a statement of purpose. when you put some information from website, not copy paste, some extracting information in 1 line or 2 line and put in the SOP, then it will be like very impressive for the admission committee. So, and some, yeah, they have some government funded research projects also. So if you are like, if your research interest matches with these, then you can apply to this one also. But here, like, you have to check Japanese language is required or not. If not required, then you can apply, otherwise it is not possible. Okay, then you can go any faculties and then you can search for any program. So similarly for any other, let's see, for United States. So this one is Mississippi State University. Just go for like future students, because we are going to apply. Then future students, international student, it will tell you about bachelor, so I'm not going to explore this one. So graduate program. And then here you can see on the graduate programs, and then here's the faculty, funding and tuition. So you don't need to worry about the scholarship thing about in US university. So every university has TA and RA in the form of they fully provide tuition, and there's accommodation, health insurance, everything. So when you will contact professor, they will tell you about what he is going to give you in terms of stipend. So graduate programs, just explore here. These are the programs. So here you can see that it is very difficult to find where is the department. So just go to Mississippi State University and electrical engineering, and you will find the direct website. If you didn't find a single one, then you can scroll and you can see the information. So just here, this one is electrical. So here people means faculty, so you can find the professor. There are different professor, and also research program. Research, this one control, like this is the research subsection, research area, power control at high voltage, these things. And this one is the professor, and most of the professor, young professor, has their own website. Let's see this one. Anyone, let's see this one. Okay, so if he has a like this is his profile, so he mentioned the personal website. Most of the professor doesn't have, but like some young professor and most other professor also have the personal website. So just go to this one to see if there is open position or not. So this is his lab. You can read everything: news, projects, publication, team, and then opening. And then opening, he research assistant position opening. PhD positions are available for self-motivated. So now you know that this professor is taking a student. So then email him. And he also mentioned that please send me an email with your CV, your area of interest, and your experience. So you must have to include these things. If you didn't include these things, then he is going to think that you are not serious. You are not like following instructions. So he is not going to reply. So by this way, you can explore programs and research and TOEFL score. Like one thing, Mississippi State University Electrical Engineering TOEFL score. Just put it here, and you will know. Like you can see that it's very easy. Just you have to explore. If you don't want to go there, just here, here. So it is different way. Sometime you will get information by this way, sometimes that way, like that way. Go by Googling, sometimes this way. You have to explore. And one more thing that why I want to address Louisiana. So this is one of the professor from Louisiana State University. So just his own website, the professor on website. I contacted him last year, so he replied me. So here you can see that one PhD position is available at Grant with the starting date of fall semester. So you know that. Now he cannot say in the reply of email that he has no funding. So it means that he has funding. Now, interested applicants should contact this one with the following items attached to the email: detailed CV, undergraduate transcript, graduate transcript, TOEFL and GRE score, name and contact information of 3 professional reference. You have to include these things in CV. So you cannot skip any of these things. And as a subject, he also tell that what should be the subject. Please use prospective PhD student fall 2021. So you have to use that one. And he also mentioned the required skills that you can see and relate with your skills, that you have this one or not, and try to convince the professor. So all this was about finding information. And the group which I was talking about, this one is the Facebook group. And then in the Facebook group, you can find every information in this one: guide section, complete procedure, CV, IELTS preparation, TOEFL preparation, GRE preparation, research proposal, statement of purpose, letter of recommendation, how to write an email, targeted scholarship, degree attestation and visa procedure, and how to interview preparation, how to gain research experience since bachelor, video and bachelor degree, and yeah, and some selected people's like it is my document which I use for my PhD. I put everything here. You can see the real document which got selected. So here you can find my CV and email, Louisiana State University PhD admission offer letter, recommendation letter, statement of purpose, term of acceptance, and one thing this one, email to professor. You can just 3 paragraphs first introduce, then relate your area, and then finally conclude your email. This is one of the way. And in most cases you can find every information here. If there is something you didn't find, then and be active in the group, then you will find many positions. There are lots of people posted, like, so you can find and I posted one post today, so you can go here and this one is the document doc list for different webs for finding scholarship in different websites, so you can explore that. And that's all for my side, I think. So now if you have any questions, I can try to answer this one. Okay.
Steven bhai, we have some questions in the chat box.
Okay.
I'll just call out. So first question we have from Faham Khan. How to defend a no publication record at the time of admission?
You don't need to defend. If you are applying for PhD, then you can show with your project that you did during your bachelor or master's. And if you are applying for PhD, then I think conference or journal paper is, or you can say it is some type of mandatory case. Okay. So if you are applying for PhD, you must have to publish 1 or 2 or conference paper at least, if possible 1 journal. If you have nothing, then you have to find that university which has not so much competition there, then you can find. Otherwise, if you have experience with like different software skills, or you did some small project during your bachelor or master's, then you can also show, you have to show research skills or experience in the form of either it is in the form of project, either in the form of paper, either in the form of anything, poster, these things. So that will be good for defending publication, no publication for.
Okay, so next question we have.
नहीं तो किसी कॉन्फ्रेंस
Okay, so next question we have from Abdul Samad Khan. Sir, can you suggest locations where acceptance criteria is based on high CPI?
Yes, there are a few like Canada or Germany. They care about GPA. Like 50% weightage is given to GPA. So you can apply to the Canadian or German universities, but in Germany or in Canada, scholarship for master's degrees tough. So if you can afford some 8 to 10 lakh rupees for 2 years or 1 year 6 to 7 lakhs, then you can go. And in the second year, you can do part-time job or and then you can earn money. But I don't recommend that one because you will lose your other things like social life and you know we as a prayer and some other masjid stuff. So try to get a full scholarship. Okay, next.
So next we have, Seem bhai, can you send the PPT of your presentation in WhatsApp group? Okay, sure.
I will send him Hamad and Hamad will post it in the group and WhatsApp group, and I will also post it in the Facebook group. And I am recording this webinar, I hope. Yes, so I will also put this one in the YouTube channel so you can revise it.
Next question we have from Sabahat Ahmed Khan. Sir, tell the procedure for Hungaricum stipendium.
Hungaricum scholarship procedure is very easy. So I am just, I already conducted webinar on this one. So I am putting the link. You can watch that video. 1 second. शुरू करते हैं अपना.
Hello, Srin bhai.
Yes, it is in the chat box.
I am Masad. Hello.
Okay,
Sorry,
please
yeah.
go forward.
It is possible to get any university that's didn't require GRE in America.
It is possible.
PhD,
It
for
is
PhD.
possible. Yeah, it is
For-
possible. There, some universities are waiving of GRE this year, and in some universities they don't require. But like it is very rare that if you apply without GRE, that your admission chances will be a little bit
Okay.
less. And but if you don't have GRE, but you approach the professor and professor is ready, then you don't need GRE. So for the safe side, I always say that you must take GRE, because sometimes usually happens that you contacted professor and he's ready to take you, but then at the last time you get to know that GRE is required on that university which the professor replied. So that's why you should take GRE if you are planning to apply for. Yes.
Yes, I am agree with you, but sometimes it's happened. Some of the universities deadline is very close, so it's not. I don't have a time so to prepare GRE and take exam. So
Yeah, you
I'm-
can do that. It is up to you. You can do that, but it will be limited. Of course, it will be limited.
Yeah.
Okay,
thank
next
you.
question.
Okay, so next question we have from Ms. Zoha Khalili. Is it possible to get fully funded scholarship in any Canadian university for masters?
Masters, it is possible if you have some research skills, like because for getting fully funded scholarship in Canada, you must have to contact professor, and if he is ready to willing you, then he can provide you some graduate research assistantship, which will cover your tuition and accommodation and health insurance. So you don't need to pay anything from your side, your family. So in that case, it is possible. But like for masters, contacting professor and he is ready to willing you as a RA student, it is little bit tough, but you can try. Like lots of people have went to Canada this year also, last year also, and they get the GRE positions, but ultimately they had to pay few I think a few $100. Yes. So basically, if you convince the professor, it is possible. Without professor, there are some scholarship, 1-year graduate fellowship, something like that, and some, but it is very hard to secure. If for that one, you must have some very strong profile. Okay. Next.
Okay, so next question we have from Mohammad Zaid. I am a final year law student. I want to ask that every US masters will be paid. I mean, how hard is it to secure a paid position at master's level? He's asking for US.
It is very hard. It is actually very hard. But it's the same thing is for law student also. You have to inquire the department website and ask him about TA positions or some RA positions. If your profile is so like competitive and you have good score in TOEFL like 100 plus, or for law student I think it should go 110 plus for funding, and GRE, high score in GRE, or I think for law student there is some other test, so you can go to you have to take that test and score well. If you have like, if your profile like CV and CPI and GRE and TOEFL, everything is more than average, then of course you can get. So it is like not a like this way, like no students can get the fully funded in masters. It is not like that. Some people get, but it is very hard. Okay, next.
Okay, so next question we have from Miss Preeti. Is review paper in journal considered as valid proof of research work?
Yes, of course. For the bachelor or master student, review paper is quite good. So at least they will know that you know how to publish paper, how to write paper, how to like find the gap in research area. So it is valid proof. You should go. Everyone should go for review paper at least. So it is quite good. Yes.
Okay, sir. Next WhatsApp group is full. Okay, I'll send the next WhatsApp group link. Next question we have from Mr. Faham. Is it good to move with a partial scholarship?
Where?
I believe you have answered this question.
Where? Which country?
He has not specified the country.
Okay. For partial scholarship, if you have money, then you can go. For the US, most of people come with their own full on funding. Like he paid here tuition fees and everything in lakh, 30 lakh, 20 lakhs. But the US scenario is a little bit different because here the job market is quite good. So people know that he will get job after masters. If not instantaneously, then after 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 1 year. So that's why people do that. People pay tuition fees, and people were like, it is worth it, then people do it. So if you think you have money, your family, your parents, then you can go. If you have financial problem, then never go with partial scholarship, because in like partial scholarship means it is half, but half means in United States, in Europe, half means it is 20-30 lakhs, or some countries 10 lakhs also. For US, 20 lakhs. Okay.
Okay, sir. Next question we have from Mr. Hassan. If someone has taken admission in BTech third year program, will there be any problem in applying to foreign universities? Because I've seen some universities accept only 4-year degree.
No, actually, no. The big answer is no. But some universities do that one. But in that case, you have to mention the, like, of course, if you have like pursuing BTech in 3-year program lateral entry, then you have like diploma in engineering or something. So in that case, you have to mention in your SOP that diploma is some kind of 3-year degree and BTech is 3-year degree. So it is total 16 years of education. I also mentioned this one in another video in detail. So you can watch that one and it will be clear for you. So for most of the university, it is not a big issue. For few universities, it might create a problem. But you have to ask from the admission committee in which university you are applying. Okay.
Okay, sir. Next question we have from Mr. Sahil. Do they also provide a scholarship for MBA in foreign? Especially, what is the scenario of Malaysia and South Africa?
For MBA, no scholarship in most of the places, like especially West. So in some university they provide, but you must have to score everything like GRE or GMAT, high score, TOEFL high score. Yes, in some countries like South Korea, Japan, China, Taiwan, they provide fully funded scholarship for MBA also. So you can apply there. Malaysia, for MBA in Malaysia, I actually don't know, but maybe they provide. South Africa is like, they provide a scholarship, but not fully funded in most of the cases. And their stipend is also very less. So that's why people don't usually go there. So if you are satisfied with low salary, then low stipend, then you can also consider South Africa. But for the fully funded scholarship, you have to look for that. But in South African universities, they usually provide tuition waiver for masters or PhD student. For PhD student, they provide some stipend also, but you have to inquire the university. And there are only 3-4 good universities in South Africa. Okay, next.
Okay, sir. Next question we have from Mr. Abdurrahman Khan. He's asking, can you please provide some information about EPFL Switzerland scholarship?
EPFL Switzerland. This information you can find in the document. So I don't think I should discuss this one here. Just
yes.
you need because it is highly competitive, so it is not easy to secure. So because EPFL is top-notch university, so you must have to score GRE, TOEFL, and you must have to do research and publish papers and everything. So, and just read the eligibility criteria, required documents, and minimum scores. You will find that one. Okay, next.
Okay, sir. Next question we have from Ms. Mariam Khan. Sir, I have completed MCA this year, but I wish to do masters in data science from a European university. Is it okay?
Yes, of course, it is okay. And for the European, I just share the YouTube channel in the chat box. You can see that channel. Yes, for the masters in data science from European university, it is okay. But for masters, a scholarship is only available in Italy, Finland, and Hungary. I think no other scholarship available in other country. So in these countries, you should apply, then see the result. If you are accepted, then you can pursue your masters from masters in data science. For if you can manage 6 to 8 lakhs, then you can also consider Germany and other European countries.
Okay, sir. Next question we have from Mr. Sindhu Sohail. Please give some information about PhD fully funded in life science in Canada.
Life science research is actually good in West. So just explore same procedure, explore the website, university website, and find the research area of the professor, contact him. If he replies, then of course you are in. but you have to convince professor through email by having your research experience or relevant research skills or experience. Then of course you can get admission, no problem. It all based on your research experience. Not research experience doesn't mean that you have to do lots of research in bachelor or master. You just have to like you should have sense of research so that you can show in your CV. So if you have this one, then you can apply anywhere, any country, any university. It doesn't matter, but you have to check TOEFL and GRE for that specific university in Canada. Yes.
Next is from Krishna. I am in final year of my undergrad. My English with English in majors and geography minor. Is it good to do masters and PhD as a dual degree from abroad, like for masters, unlike the GPA? What else should I be looking for?
Actually, it is highly recommended or very good to apply for direct PhD or dual masters or PhD program, especially in United States, because in that case you will get some kind of scholarship, fully funded scholarship. If you make a long-term commitment, then of course you will have more chances to be admitted by that university. So it is good. And for the masters, unlike the GPA, I already discussed, you have to make your profile better, like SOP, letter of recommendation, and research CV, and everything I already discussed. You can see the other webinars on YouTube channel. Yes.
Okay, sir. Next question is from Ayan. Assalamu alaikum bhai. I want to apply to Hungaricum stipendium for masters in geology. However, I don't have research experience and IELTS, but I do have good CGPA and internships. How are my chances for admission?
I can't tell your chances, but it is good because I already told you that whoever is applying for Hungarian or any other scholarship, you will never know. If their profile is much better than you, then of course they will prefer them. So, but Hungaricum scholarship is like, first the UGC nominate, so it is not a big deal. Just apply. Maybe you will get a chance to get there. Okay, some 2-3 more questions.
Yes, sir. I have a question from Mr. Mushir. I have completed BTech in Mechanical Engineering 2018. Since then, I am working as a lecturer of physics. If I want to pursue MS in Mechanical, can I add teaching experience as experience?
Yes, of course, it will be very beneficial. Just you can add it and also show some roles. What did you do? That will be great. Yes.
Sir, I am taking
and also
this as
mention this one is in your SOP, statement of purpose. Okay.
So this is the last question I'm taking.
Yes.
Hello, sir. I am pursuing MSc in Polymer Science and want to do PhD from abroad, especially in Hungary. But my financial condition is not so good. So is it okay to apply or not?
Hungary is fully funded. Even every PhD program is fully funded, so you don't need to pay anything except your IELTS test fees in India. So you don't need to pay anything. So just apply. Just forget about this payment thing. I already discussed that. You don't need to pay anything. I even didn't pay anything. Even I am getting lots of money from the university and professor. So you don't need to about it. Okay, that's I think enough for today. And keep working. And if you have any question, just come to the group and post there. Okay.
Thanks a lot, sir, for answering all those questions. On behalf of all the members of City Talk Club, I would like to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. With deep regards from my heart, I would like to thank our distinguished guest, Mr. Sireen Ahmed, for not only sparing his invaluable time for us to grace this occasion, but also for enlightening us with his commendable talk on the subject. Thanks a lot for putting the best of your efforts to make this event unforgettable. I would also like to extend my regards to the audience for showing their patience and cooperation. Thank you all for your presence. Keep in touch with City Talk Club. for upcoming events next month. We'll be happy to host such events in the future also. So it's time to end this meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.